Okay, you don't have anybody there like on active duty knocking on your door, pulling you out of your rack, saying, hey, you need to go get this done, hey, you need to go to medical, hey, you need to do this and do that. Hello everyone, I'm Shaniqua, your Navy transition coach, and this is a place where I help you navigate life both in and out of the Navy. So today we're going to be talking about the hard truths about the Navy Reserves. Now on my channel I talk a lot about the Navy Reserves and the benefits thereof, but I need to be 100% honest with you so that you know how to properly handle yourself as a Navy Reservist. Now the first hard truth that I'm going to share with you is that there are tons of responsibility that you have that you did not have when you were on active duty, or if you haven't been on active duty that you won't have if you were on active duty. Now I'm going to compare this responsibility to active duty because it makes sense for you to understand how things are very different. So for example, on the Navy Reserves, you have to create your own orders, you have to put in your own pay, your travel, and honestly your pay too. You got to make sure you submit documents and paperwork, like all of that you have to do primarily on your own. Unlike active duty, where you can go to the PSs and they can help you to push everything through. Now on top of that, you still have to make sure that your general military training is done, your courses. You have to make sure your medical and dental is taken care of. Nobody's going to remind you of that. You need to make sure you're on time and that, you know, everybody's keeping track of your PFAs and your evals are good. Like, you have a ton of responsibility, but I do want to make sure you just understand that along with that responsibility comes with a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility. So it's kind of an even trade. Now, before we get into the next one, I do want to help you to understand something. I used to work at the NOS. That was my very last duty station before I became a reservist. Okay, so I know the kind of admin NOS portion side and the reservist side. Okay, but the next thing is lost paperwork. Now, y'all gonna have to forgive y'all NOS if they lose your paperwork. Like, that's something, I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but it's very common to happen. One is because from my personal experiences, and I'm just going to be honest, paperwork was misplaced. We work with a lot of different people. Okay, when I say that, I mean we had 2 drill weekends per month, and there was over 900 people that would come to the NOS for drill weekend per month. 900 people that I had to probably come in contact with at some point to help submit their paperwork. Okay, so if our processes and systems are not set, like aren't really good, then it's going to be really hard for us to keep track of absolutely everything. And please take into consideration the fact that NOSCs are pretty undermanned many times. My NOSC, we were undermanned. Okay, people leave and they come, but sometimes they don't stay in our department and they get shifted over to another space, and you have to kind of figure out, well, what did you do with the paperwork? Like, there's so many different things that could go into why your paperwork was misplaced. Now, with that being said, the next thing is pay issues. This is one that is tough, but it really needs to be shared, because it's not only the NOSC that's responsible for your pay, but it's you that's responsible for your pay. Okay, you're responsible for your own career. When I said you have a lot of responsibility, but you also have that flexibility, I 100% mean that. Okay, so when you just come off of your orders and you're like, okay, well, I need to get the rest of my pay, well, you need to go to your NOSC and submit your paperwork properly. Okay, have copies of everything, all of your receipts. Make sure you keep that. Like, no one is going to hold your hand and make sure all of your paperwork that you're responsible for is kept and it's safe and it's together. Now, the reason I say pay issues is because, one, people don't turn their stuff in like they're supposed to. I'm just going to be honest. Okay. Another thing is that it's not always the NOSC that's responsible or the NOSC that is at fault for things. Okay, we have to communicate, and I say we because I used to work there, but we have to communicate with a PSD or whatever it is that's there processing the pay. We're kind of like the middleman at the NOS to submit, you know, pay issues or pay stuff. However, we're not the end all be all. It has to go outside of the NOSC to somewhere else for it to get submitted. And if they find that something isn't right, whether it's the travel date doesn't start and end on the same days as what's on the orders, then things could kind of get delayed or shifted and could cause some pay issues. Okay, this next one is hard. Like all of these, I just want to let you know, these are not easy to say, because my goal here is to make sure that the Navy Reserves looks good and you understand the benefits of it and have that outweigh the cons. But if I don't tell you the cons and you jump into it thinking that all is going to be well, you're going to be sadly mistaken. Okay, so the next one is you sometimes have to pay your way. And when I say that, I mean the military gives you a government travel card. Okay, this is activated at a certain time and deactivated at a certain time. You have a certain limit and you can only use it for certain things. You can't say, oh well, I want to go and I don't know, go to the movies and get some popcorn and drinks while, you know, I'm on orders and I'm off. No, you cannot do that. Your military card, your government travel card is specifically used so that you can pay for travel, laundry, food, all of those things that's in your orders. Okay, now the reason I said that you have to pay your way sometimes is because things don't always happen as quick as we would like them to. So you have to make a decision. Either you're going to use your own pay to get the things that you want, get the things that you need, and be reimbursed for it, or you're just not going to go on the orders. And this is something that you need to make sure that you are ready to do. You need to make that decision for yourself. Like nobody else can make that decision for you. The military is required. Like if they're telling you, hey, we need you to go on these orders, they're required to pay you. But please be aware, if you decide that you want to try and get reimbursed for things and you lose your receipt, unfortunately, you most likely will not get reimbursed. Okay, so keep track of everything. Now, this very last one I mentioned before as well, but this is the overworked and understaffed NOSC. Okay, I had to look at my notes because I wanted to make sure I say this right. When I was working at a NOSC, we were pretty understaffed, and I want to make sure that you guys understand that the NOSC need grace. You need to give them grace. Okay, one person or 3 people handling 900 people's paperwork so they can get paid, that's a lot. Okay, sometimes we have to work late. Sometimes we might have to come in on a day that we're not originally supposed to come in, just so we can get everything processed. And me personally, I had the integrity and I wanted to make sure that people got their pay. Like, you didn't come to drill weekend so you could not get paid. So integrity matters, but not everybody is like me. Okay, not everybody will take the extra step when they could have just waited a day or two, so that things could run properly and smoothly. But I do want to make sure that you're aware of that. Many NOSC are staffed and definitely overworked. Now, if we compare these hard truths to the responsibility, the flexibility, the benefits of the Navy Reserves, I would say without a shadow of doubt that I would absolutely do it over and over and over again. Now, many times there's like different situations or different things that causes people to have a struggling career. Like sometimes it's just really difficult. It could be the NOSC, it could be because you just don't know any better. But here on this channel, I want to make sure that I help you to understand the things that you are able to do to make your process so much smoother. If you guys have any specific questions about how to be successful in the Navy Reserves, please leave a comment down below, because I would love to answer those questions for you. Now, if you're new to my channel and you have not already subscribed, I want to go ahead and encourage you to do so. Here we talk a lot about transitioning into the military, out of the military, as a civilian, how to operate, and I want to make sure that I'm able to help you as much as I possibly can. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end, and on that note, I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.